This episode of TRS is brought to you by The Ben Heck Show, Building, Modding, and Electronics, brought to you exclusively by Element 14. Today on the show is Paul Giamatti's new movie, A Win-Win. Well, that is the title.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Totally Rad Show. We got a great week today. We're going to be talking about the new indie comedy, I guess you would call it indie, right? Yeah, Win-Win with Paul Giamatti.
And tomorrow we've got a big video game release from THQ called Homefront.
And then on Wednesday, we are checking in on what is on each other's radars with On My Radar.
Yes, Thursday we're back for board games with a new card deck building game. I don't know what that means, but I'm excited.
And then Friday, of course, we're going to wrap it all up with a game you love to love, Tagline Takedown.
But we do want to thank our background guy, Seth Hatland. Hatland.
He's done a couple backgrounds for us, and he always does these amazing hand-drawn depictions of us. Just wonderful. And blue.
Yeah. Let's get hand-drawn.
Let's do it.
Today in movies, we are talking about Win-Win, which just came out this past weekend in limited release, and it follows an attorney, played by Paul Giamatti, who moonlights as a high school wrestling coach, stumbles across a star athlete, and through some questionable dealings, he's trying to support his family while also connecting with this wrestling kid. It comes from, it's a difficult premise to describe because it's very complicated. But it's directed by Tom McCarthy, who has made, I think, one of the best movies ever made. I know Jeff agrees. The Station Agent, and then since then, the great
Actually,
movie,
both on my list of shame.
Visitor.
I think The Visitor's amazing, too. Did you not like The Visitor?
I thought it was good. Just the Station Agent I prefer. And I know Jeff is very excited because Tom McCarthy also directed the pilot for the Game of Thrones show on HBO coming out, the big fantasy show. So Station Agent and Visitor.
Yeah.
Both on your list of shames. You've never seen a Tom McCarthy picture before.
No. I mean, I've seen the trailer for The Visitor is a nice little movie in and of itself. So.
I was sitting next to you.
Yes.
So I know that you're now a fan of Tom McCarthy.
Well, yeah.
How much of a fan are you?
Well, I mean, this is just a doll of a movie. I mean, this is just a great movie front to back. It was powerful at parts. It was laugh out loud hysterical in parts. And it just is one of those sort of little films that speaks volumes about people. I mean, it's great acting all around. The performances are amazing. The only one little performance gripe that I have is the kid is so amazingly underspoken that when he's sort of called upon to sort of do the actual acting, it's not as realistic.
Never acted before in his life.
Yeah.
He's an actual wrestler.
Yes.
That they found.
All of that is very clear. But he's pitch perfect through, 85% of his performance is pitch perfect. And it's enough that when those moments happen that you're like, oh, I bet you he's not really an actor. You kind of forgive it especially because he's paired up with somebody like Paul Giamatti, who just knocks it out of the park in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, and Amy Ryan. The funny thing is, in this movie,
Amy Ryan plays his wife.
His wife, and the sort of surrogate mother of this kid. And I've never seen in a movie, and I'm sure it's been done, but I've never seen in a movie where someone angrily says, "I love you," and it hits more powerfully than any time anybody's ever said that. I mean, it was like, bang, you know what I mean? And it was so. It was a great movie. You should definitely see it. I mean, everybody should see it. It was amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I think the movie's a joy. It's a joyous experience watching it. And it's unique in that I thought through the first two acts, sitting there, this might be a movie that I am completely engaged in and having a blast watching, and there is no antagonist. And then, of course, the third act rolls around and there is an antagonist. And it's almost unfortunate because I just wanted to be with these people. I just wanted to root for them and have only good things happen to them. And that was enough. I didn't even need the drama because of how rich the interactions were between them. You know, one of the, I think the most underrated shows on television, as I've said before, is Cougar Town. And because of its title, mostly. And I
don't know if it's underrated in general, but certainly amongst cool people.
Yeah, I think amongst our certain our peer group. And I get the same joy out of Cougar Town in that it's a bunch of people that are good, they're trying to do good things, they like each other, and they're having a good time, and you just want to be with them. And the interaction of the three male leads in this movie is so wonderful. Jeffrey Tambor, and I don't remember the other actor's name.
Yeah, the best friend.
Bobby Cannavale, who's also in Station Agent.
A huge standout in this movie.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the movie is wonderfully cast. I think the casting director on this earned her money or his money, and it is wonderful finding that kid who delivers a really wonderful performance and knowing enough to say, yeah, we need to get a wrestler first.
Yeah.
And an actor second because he has to be sold as, and this kid was like a real like national, almost national, not champion, but you know, highly ranked.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful, wonderful movie. Very funny.
Yes, I agree. It is, it's my favorite of Tom McCarthy's movies, which, considering the way I opened this, it now makes it one of the best movies ever made for me. And not only that, but what I found really striking, beyond, I echo everything you guys said, but what I found really striking is that while you can watch a Michael Bay movie or a Quentin Tarantino movie and identify it as that they have this auteur stamp on the visual style, and most direct John Woo, Martin Scorsese, they put their stamp on the visual style. This guy has an auteuristic stamp on characters, on like the way that he develops relationships in movies. And it's funny that you bring up Cougar Town, because what struck me about this is how, you know, my favorite parts of television shows, I've mentioned on this show before, is when, you know, you have your set up character relationships, and then as you get further into the season, you get those more interesting pairings of people. Like in Friday Night Lights, you get the mother with the friend of her daughter who have to like be together. You know, and it's like these odd pairings. And all of Tom McCarthy's movies, and Win Win in particular, is like these wonderful pairings of relationships. And I also want to say that I was thinking about how someone like J.J. Abrams makes huge movies feel really personal. He puts a lot of like character stories inside giant films.
Yeah.
This guy does the opposite. He takes completely mundane, everyday life scenarios that you would not think are cinematic at all and tells a story with them. I mean, like, just the most ordinary things happen in this movie.
The high school wrestling matches are like intense, you know what I mean? But they're just like high school wrestling. I mean, there's like 4 people in the bleachers.
Right.
But you're like, get it!
But even like putting in moments like saying hi to the neighbor next door.
Yeah.
It's just, there's something,
How's the
any other
feet? How's
film
the
it would
foot?
have been like, what? But this is like, it just feels so
lived in.
And what you said about an auteur for character, I don't think that's a new thing. I mean, certainly somebody like Woody Allen has done that, and a lot of writer-directors do that.
But even in, like Woody Allen, there's a way that, and Kevin Smith, there's a way people speak. You know, like Woody, there's like a way that all the characters act. There's not, although he has a lot of underspokenness in his quietness in his movie, but it's like the way that they interact with each other that's uniquely him. But
I want to go back and see if you guys resonate on the same level with that. I've never really felt that in a movie before, that feeling of I don't want an antagonist. I don't want anything bad to happen to these people. I want only good things.
That when you said that, I always feel that way in every movie I watch. I really do. Every time the midpoint comes in where I'm like it just is a chore for me. But specifically in action movies.
You're like, oh, they gotta do
in action
stuff.
movies, when you spend time with the bad guys, I'm completely bored. But what I thought of when you said that
good
is
to know.
Easy A. That's exactly how I felt about the movie Easy A. It was like just a joy. Everything was positive. It was all about
keep
like,
it rolling and then throw the credits.
Very small. It was about continuing to be positive as opposed to dealing against overwhelming odds, or you know what I mean, like.
Yeah, and there's a mistake or a sort of inciting incident that happens at the beginning of this movie that's very underplayed, and you almost halfway through I was like, that didn't even really happen. You know, that's not that. When I thought I saw it, it probably wasn't that.
Well, yeah, the movie's a funny mixture of genres, like especially when a montage sequence happens, you go, oh, is this a sports
Karate
movie?
Kid all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But like, it's such a weird mishmash of all these.
That best friend guy was freaking genius.
Steffler, what was his name?
Stemler.
Stemler. Oh,
Stemler was good too.
Brilliant.
He's the same identical character in The Station Agent. I mean, this is almost like the sequel for him.
You mean Paul Giamatti's friend?
No, Paul Giamatti's friend.
Yes, that's who I was talking about.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Bobby Cannavale, who I believe is a popular TV actor, and in plenty
I've
of
seen him in a
movies,
bunch
but
of stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Win-win. A win-win.
A
all
win-win.
around.
Full of win.
Win-win-win.
Yeah, win-win-win. The trifecta. All right, everybody, remember to stick around for This Day in Rad History. But first, sponsors. The Ben Heck Show, the all-new online TV series created for and by electronic enthusiasts and sponsored exclusively by Element 14. Join Ben and his friends for bi-weekly episodes as they mod and build all kinds of community-suggested gadgets. But be sure to watch the most recent episode of The Ben Heck Show. Do it. Ben built an Xbox portable laptop designed to look like a 1977 Atari system. Like what?
That's
Where does he go? You know what? I wish I had an Atari system, but that looked like but it actually played like an
Xbox
an
2600.
Exactly. So check out element14.com/TBHS, The Ben Heck Show, to enter and win one of Ben's most recent builds from the show, the Sega CD-X Portable.
I want that all I need.
Dan, you need to enter. Offer ends March 31st, so go over and do that and compete with Dan.
Yes.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Check us out tomorrow when we review the game Homefront.
So today is March 21st, and on this day in Rad history, in the year 2020, or 2233, Captain Kirk was born in Riverside, Iowa.
He will be born.
He will be born in Riverside, Iowa. That was sent in by Hector Cortez.
That's so awesome.
It's a note. It's a flag in the history book.
It will eventually be not happening.
It
will still be fictional.
Future fiction.
I propose that in 2233, on March 21st, there will be a large number of Kirks.
Do you think?
Born.
If the world exists.
Do you think? Yeah. Do you think
The world will exist.
220 years
Well,
from
think
now?
back 220 years. What was it like the Black Plague?
There was less tsunamis and earthquakes.
Too soon.
and things.
More dragons and
That's the
stabbing.
problem, Jeff. That's the problem.
Did you think, Hector?
Thank you, Hector Cortez.